Welcome to Travel Tales, a mini-series within Distress to Joyful Bailey's Way podcast. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to travel the world with you. In each episode, you'll hear firsthand how my travel experiences have gone, both within the United States and abroad. Together, we'll discover new cultures, learn about a variety of new places for you to go out and explore, bring light to how I navigate my bipolar disorder while traveling, and, most importantly, we'll have fun. You'll leave each episode stocked full of exciting new ideas, interesting information, and feeling like it's time to hop on a plane. So come on, friends, let's start exploring. Hello, friends. Welcome back. I'm excited because we are still in India, except instead of being in Mumbai, we are about to travel somewhere else in India. So I hope you guys are excited. This episode is a really good one. This day in India was really great because, as you can see the title, Meeting the Parents. So more to come. So let's get started. We awoke mid-morning after a full night's sleep and began to frantically get ready for the busy day ahead. First on the list were our salon appointments that we were on the verge of being late to, so breakfast was scarfed down in a hurry just moments before we rushed out the door. We scurried down the street, hailed an auto, and made our way to the salon. Upon arriving, Moni notified the salon staff that we needed to leave no later than 12:30 p.m. as we had a flight to catch that afternoon. They walked us over to the back corner of the salon and went straight to work on Moni's hot oil head massage. I was also booked for a hot oil head massage, but because I was also getting a pedicure, they began to set me up for the pedicure first. I'm sure you're wondering, what the hell is a hot oil head massage? Well, y'all, it's literally the next best thing to a full body or foot massage, yet it has lasting, healthy effects on your hair. So I'm going to take a pause from the story and tell you a little bit about this because these are my favorite thing, guys. I had no idea this existed until I met Moni, who talked about doing this back home in India all the time. So basically what they do is they get coconut oil and they warm it up, which coconut oil, if you don't know this, it's really good for your scalp and for your hair. And to be honest, I think that my curls have actually come back from years and years of straightener and and blow dryer damage. I think that they've come back because of the coconut oil. I've got really good hair. My hairstylist, Nikki, is always saying that, my hair is great. I'm taking good care of it, blah, blah, blah. And it's because we do hot oil on our heads at home. Now, we don't massage our heads at home because we're not the professionals, so it's not the same. But literally, once a week is what I try to do. Don't always do it, but at least once a week, I try to sleep with coconut oil in my hair. We have a special pillowcase for it and everything. And then in the morning, I wash my hair twice to wash it all out. It's an Indian secret. It's not a secret, but it really is so good for your hair. And so when you go to a salon in India to have a hot oil head massage, they get the oil, they get it in your hair, they lather it, and they massage your head. They massage your temples, up here, your neck, all of it. And guys, it is so fucking relaxing. So relaxing. And besides that, there are pressure points in your head that I don't know a lot about, so don't quote me on this. But I do know that, massaging them or doing acupuncture on them is actually really, really good for your body, your nervous system, your brain, whatever. It's good for you. But I just love them because they're so relaxing and they feel so good, and they'll last anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes depending. And if you're going to India, you need to book yourself one. Now that I think about it, this is a total sidetrack, but a couple of my friends are coming to India with me and Moni for our Indian wedding in December. And I think I'm going to have to book these for all of us one day, just for the hell of it, because they need to experience this. I want to experience this yet again. And most of them have been tuning into these episodes, so I feel like now I have to. Okay, so moving on. A member of the salon staff had just barely gotten started with my pedicure when my stomach began to feel upset. My stomach was so upset that I frantically told Moni that I was about to barf, and he asked the guy who was giving him his head massage where the restroom was. Which, I could have done that too, but it's just easier if Moni does it. Thankfully, the toilets were literally right behind me, so I was able to storm the restroom just in time for my breakfast to make a reappearance. The little breakfast that I had consumed, anyways. And we figured that the cause of this was the malaria medication combined with the heat that when we stepped. So we figured that the cause of this was the malaria medication combined with the heat that we stepped into immediately after I had swallowed that little pill. So, fun fact, if you're an American citizen and you're heading to India for the first time or even the second or third, they usually recommend that you take malaria medication. So there's a couple different routes. I don't have insurance, so we did the cheapest route for me, and that was taking a pill once a day. I think I had to start taking it 2 weeks before my trip and then 2 weeks after. And especially because I was going at a time where it was starting to get hotter and hotter outside, meaning mosquitoes were being more present, we're being more present, and mosquitoes are carriers of malaria, and so that was a precaution they had us take. Monish is like super serious about this kind of stuff, and so he forced me to do it. And I'm kind of glad that he did, because had he not, I definitely wouldn't have done it. But that medication for me, it literally said take it with food, and so I took it with breakfast, but we didn't take into account that being in the heat could also stir up some shit in the stomach. Because what we did after that, y'all, is moving forward, we made sure that I ate breakfast, took the malaria pill, and stayed inside for at least 20 to 30 minutes in the AC, the fans, whatever, just being cool. And ever since that, we never had another incident. So that's why we think it's the heat, because that was the one thing that changed from the day before to that day. And ever since we removed that factor, no more problems. So, fun fact, if you're traveling to India, you're going to take malaria medication. Just remember, if you're going to be outside in the heat, take the meds at least 30 minutes before you go outside. Just give your body time to digest it a bit before the heat, unless you want to just keep throwing up, which I don't think you do, because spicy food coming back up is a fucking bitch, y'all. That's probably TMI. But hey, it's India and this is reality. So So once that mess was over with, I was finally able to relax and enjoy my spa treatments, which were very much needed by this point. After my pedicure was complete, they moved me over to a different chair to begin my hot oil head massage, which was so amazing. It was my first time ever. And I'd never experienced something like this before, and I was completely and utterly relaxed by the time they were finished, although I never wanted it to end, because, who does, right? So after spending time massaging the coconut oil that I had selected deep into my scalp, they then took me over to a salon sink and washed it all out. Lastly, they took me back to the chair to blow dry and style my hair so that I could continue on with my day. Just for funsies, I'm going to disclose how much we spent for both mine and Monish's hot oil head massages and my pedicure with an upgrade. So the total cost after tipping the staff was equivalent to about $52 USD. Now, I've been told that I'm, quote, not supposed to compare how much I spend on things in India versus back home. But y'all, as somebody who loves saving money, I just can't help it. I just can't fucking help it. And I get really excited knowing that the cost of one upgraded pedicure in America can get me all of this stuff, all of it. Seriously, guys, the last time I got a pedicure, it was actually $70-something, and that was a mid-grade. That was a little bit upgraded, but not the full. Because if you're listening and you get pedicures, you know that there's the basic one, which is usually around $30-$40. There's the medium upgrades where it's you add one or two things on. And then you've got the deluxe. There's always a deluxe. And it's all the things. And the last time I got a deluxe, y'all, it was $90. So for almost half that price, both of us got our head massages. I got a pedicure with an upgrade. I love India. My USD goes so far, and I love it. And I'm going to probably keep talking about that all throughout all of these stories and days of these adventures, and I don't care because I just get so excited. I do. Anyways, we had to rush out of the salon and into an auto to head back to Tanvi's apartment as we had a plane to catch that would take us to Delhi. So we made it back to the apartment with minimal time available to ensure that our bags were properly packed, which was a nightmare for this little anxiety-ridden and on-time till I die woman. Yeah, it was seriously I was so anxious, y'all. So taking an auto to the airport wouldn't have been practical as we had a big old suitcase with us, and it was a 45-minute drive in midday heat. So we ordered an Uber instead. Traffic was absolutely hectic, just as Tanvi had warned us, and unfortunately for me, the driver this time was a lot rougher than the drivers we'd had previously. Thankfully, we had some motion sickness pills handy, which literally saved the day. So, couple things real quick. So, if you are, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, you can actually click the link and there's the article in there, right? So you can click the link and it opens up the article where I wrote all of this stuff that I'm reading to you right now. And in that article, you're going to find the videos. I have a video of me getting a hot oil head massage. I have a video of the traffic that we sat in, y'all, because it was my first time in midday traffic that was crazy like this. It was a weekday, and y'all, it was insane. It was so insane. And the driver, it's not that he was more rough, it's that he was dealing with so much traffic. And so it's a lot of stop, go, jerk, and all of that motion was way too much for me. So we keep Dramamine, which is literally like a ginger pill, and that works wonders on motion sickness. So pro tip, if you are traveling to another country and you get car sick or motion sickness, dude, just have that with you just in case at all times. Like, seriously, because you never know if you're going to be on a boat, if you're going to be in a car, if you're on a plane, that's going to be bumpy and cause problems. So we have learned to keep it handy, and it's a lifesaver. So we made it to the bag check-in line in the nick of time as they stopped checking in bags for our flight as soon as we walked away from the counter. Whew, okay, now you see my anxiety. So the crisis was averted, thankfully. Oh, yes. Monish was very strategic and thoughtful as he waited to tell me that we had almost missed checking in our bag until after we got it checked in. Like, y'all, my anxiety would have been like 20 times higher had he told me that we're getting close to missing it. So he was very smart by keeping that to himself and just waiting until afterwards, because I would have panicked even though there clearly was no need for it. He's a smart, thoughtful cookie, and he just wanted to avoid adding excess in... Oh, my God. He's a smart, thoughtful cookie, and he just wanted to avoid adding excess and anxiety to my nearly full plate. So the flight to Delhi was about 2 hours long, and when we landed, we actually exited the plane on the apron, an area where they unload the planes outside of the terminal. So I looked that up because tarmac is not the correct word. It's actually called the apron. So like when you're taxiing, you know, you're in the airplane and it's driving to get out to the launch pad where it's going to take off. So they often have big parking lots, parking lots. Well, yeah, parking lots. They park the fucking planes there. So we actually, since we parked the plane there, we weren't like taken up to the terminal like everywhere in the U.S. We parked the plane there and we literally walked off the plane via a ramp. So we walked down off the plane and then we got packed into buses, which it took about 2 or 3 total to get all of these people out of there. And they drove us from the buses to the airport terminal where we could collect our bags and then continue on our way. Y'all, I had never, ever experienced anything like this before, so I thought it was so cool. Again, the video to this, it's on YouTube, but it's also in the article. It's going to be a lot easier to find it in that article versus trying to search my YouTube channel. So Monish, on the other hand, was super used to these type of things, and he was actually annoyed by the experience because he's been really spoiled with the terminal exits in the U.S. Because again, like I'd never experienced that over here. I hadn't experienced that in any of the other countries I'd been to previously, actually. But I guess they just don't have enough, I don't know, whatever gates that lead directly to the planes. I don't know. Or maybe they reserve them just for international. Who knows? I don't know. You can Google it if you really want to know. So we made it over to the baggage claim area and we located our suitcase. Before exiting to find Hema and Molish, which are Monish's parents, who I call mom and dad, so don't be surprised if you hear me saying mom and dad this whole time, but that's who I'm referring to. So before finding them, I headed to the restroom. So here in the Delhi airport, I quickly learned to not wait my turn for an open stall, but to instead just take my turn whenever the opportunity arose. Standing in an orderly line and waiting your turn isn't really a thing in India. So if you don't just go for an open stall when you can, you'll likely end up peeing yourself while standing around as everyone continues to jump in front of you and take the open stalls. And y'all, I'm fucking serious about this. So if you don't believe me, just try standing in line for a toilet at the airport in India and then get back to me on how that worked for you. I'm serious, guys. I was standing in line waiting, and these aunties kept going in the stalls in front of me, and I was like, oh, no. This is bullshit, y'all. I learned real fast, because when I have to pee, I have to pee. And I drink a ton of water. If you're on YouTube, this is how much water I drink every day. This is a whole gallon. And I drank probably more than that in India because it was so hot and there was less AC. And I was just, it's a good way to just stay hydrated and all that and cool down. So seeing that I had to pee real bad and people kept cutting, I think maybe 2 people cut in front of me before I finally was like, hell no. So the next stall that opened up, I did what the aunties were doing, which was I pushed in there. And there was an auntie trying to grab it in front of me, and I'm like, nope. And I pushed through there, and she seemed to get mad because she was like taken aback that I did that. And I'm like, look, lady, I know y'all's games. I know how y'all work. Even though you're older than me, I respect you, but I'm not going to just let you cut in front of me because you want to. Like, no. But she was probably also taken aback because, you know, look at me, I'm a white American girl, and I just took charge, and they're probably not used to that. Like, I would love to actually stand in a airport bathroom one day in India, and like an international one, obviously, and just watch how many white people get run over and see how long they get run over before they actually realize they got to take charge. Because I didn't know until I experienced it this first time. So I can't blame them, but we're raised here to be polite and wait your turn and all of that. And me, I'm a fast learner, and if I need something, I'm gonna fucking go for it. And so I fit in real well with Indians. I really do. So after exiting the airport, we met Mom, Dad, and the driver outside of our car. So after exiting the airport, we met Mom, Dad, and the driver of our car outside the terminal, and we began to make our way to the hotel. So when Moni told me that we'd be renting a car in Delhi, I assumed that Dad would drive us. I didn't realize that renting a car meant that we'd also have a driver. Moni told me, we don't drive in India. We have someone do that for us. And this is when I really began to understand how posh the Indian lifestyle truly is. Guys, it was shocking. Like, when the car came around, Moni was like, oh, that's the one. And I was like, that one? There's 3 people in it. He's like, yeah. And I was like, who's the other person? Because I'm all, like, freaked out. Like, who's this third person? I thought it was just your parents. He's like, oh, the driver. And I'm like, driver? He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. And it was really funny. But seriously, guys, you're going to hear throughout this story that anytime we are not in Monish's hometown, we have a driver. India, super posh lifestyle, super posh. And this is middle class. Like, his family isn't Elon Musk. They're not Bill Gates. They're not made of money. So they're just average people like you and me. And they have drivers, they have maids, they have all the things. Like, you guys are going to hear, it's wild. But you guys need to keep in mind, India is the largest country in the entire world by population. They actually recently surpassed China. And with being so populous, they don't have enough work for everybody. And so you can literally hire anybody to do anything you need because there's always somebody looking for work. There's always somebody willing to do whatever you need for a price. And the price usually isn't that bad. Like, it's really not, because there's so many people living in poverty, unfortunately. So yeah, not to like get dark or anything, but that's why most, average people can afford all kinds of what we would think are luxurious things here in the US, because they just have too many people, not enough work. So people are willing to do whatever they can for, like, and a lot of time it's labor, and they'll do it real cheap because they need some money. So meeting mom and dad for the first time was such an emotional moment for me, and I did my best to hold back my happy tears. I'd spent a little over 2 years getting to know these loving parental figures via WhatsApp video calls, chats, and Facebook, but I hadn't been able to see them in person and give them a hug due to travel restrictions because of COVID-19. So these two individuals have been beyond supportive of not only mine and Monish's relationship, but also of all my personal endeavors, which is something that I've lacked, as my own parents have never been this supportive of me. So with that said, it was definitely a surreal and emotional moment getting to hug mom and dad for the very first time. It really was. I had to hold back tears. I felt awkward because they weren't getting emotional like that, but I was. And so I was like, ooh, am I too emotional right now? Like, what? But yeah, I mean, Monish and I, to this day, I don't know when we started this, but for as long as I can remember, we have a video chat with them every single Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning religiously, unless they are out of town or we're out of town. Sometimes we do extra ones, sometimes we switch up the schedule, but 9 out of 10 times it's every Sunday morning. We always call as parents and we catch up and all of that. And so we'd been doing that for, like I said, I don't even know how long. I don't know when that started. I don't think any of us do. It just became a thing, a regular thing. And I love it and I appreciate it because, not only are they supportive parents to Moni, but they are to me too. And it really means a lot. So we hopped into the car and made our way to the 5-star hotel that we were staying in so that we could drop off our bags and quickly freshen up for dinner. Tumby suggested that we eat at the Big Chill, as it was a popular restaurant with lots of menu options and really cool decor. This restaurant was old-time film themed with movie posters from decades past all over the walls. Even the menu had old movie posters plastered through it. The food was Italian, and Moni joked, "See, we are feeding you more than just Indian food while you're here." We decided to eat family style so that we could sample a few different pastas and desserts together without over-ordering. And y'all, I really love getting to do things like this. This is a part of Indian culture that I truly love so much, where you order family style. So you have like 4 people, 5 people, 12 people all together, and you order a bunch of different dishes, and then everybody gets a little of everything. Or if you don't like something, then you don't need it. Like, it's awesome because then I get to try a bunch of things and not get too full or not have all these leftovers or not spend so much money. And this is a concept we don't really do here in the U.S. At least we didn't in my family growing up. Everybody had their own dish and you ordered your own thing, which, I mean, at times I do prefer, but we don't eat family style like this all the time. It's usually just me and Moni. So we order one thing and we share because together we can't eat all the food that comes with things normally. Or, because it's just 2 of us, like, there's not a lot to sample. So when there's multiple people who are willing to do this, like, for instance, when we travel with his friends' places, I just enjoy it. I really do. Because, again, it's something we didn't do growing up that I get to do now. And it's super fun. And you guys should try it with your friends if you haven't already. And if they give you weird looks and say no, then I'm sorry. So while we were sharing our meal, I had Mom explain to me the details of the upcoming wedding itinerary, as I had no idea what to expect, as this would be my very first Indian wedding that I would attend. So, side note for context, Monish's cousin Haithwi was set to get married the following week in Monish's hometown of Baroda, Gujarat, India. And there's going to be more to come about that in future blog posts, but that was so exciting for me in a million ways. And I can't wait to tell y'all more about that, especially because I'm going to get to relive her wedding right before I get to go do my own over there. So exciting times. If y'all know nothing about Indian weddings, go to my YouTube channel, which is at What Is Hay Bales Doing. Go look at my shorts. Just go through all of my shorts because I have posted a ton of clips of the Indian wedding, of Haytwee's Indian wedding. Yeah, so you'll see all kinds of stuff and things going on. It's just so much fun, so much love, music, dance, food, celebration. Like, what's not to love about this? Beautiful clothing. Loved that. So I really can't wait to post about these on the blog post and tell you all more. So stay tuned, especially if you're excited about the glitz and glam of it. So we all shared so much laughter and many, many smiles throughout our first meal together. It's one that I will never forget, truly. After dinner, we went straight back to the hotel, and Mom chose to go up to bed while Moni, Dad, and I went for a walk around the block to allow our stomachs to settle before heading to bed. That night, I fell asleep with both my tummy and my heart immensely full. True story. All right, so guys, I did not prepare something from India to show y'all. Oops, sorry. Specifically y'all on YouTube. So I'm going to show you, I don't think I've shown you this yet. I have a million things from this country, really. But I'm not sure that I've showed y'all my hati just yet. So hati is the Hindi word for elephant, and this elephant is pink, which is my favorite color, and it's plush, so it's super easy to bring home. You know, the plane, things can break. But most importantly, if you take a look at it, because if you're on YouTube, you can see it right here in my hands right now. If you take a look at it, it's got all kinds of like emabryoidery and different patterns all over it. And this is very specific to where Moni grew up in India, in the state of Gujarat. This is Gujarati. This is a Gujarati thing, which I've always loved. So it's kind of funny that I've loved this style of stuff long before I even met Moni or knew much about India at all. Also, another fun fact about India, in case you weren't aware, yes, it is a giant country. Yes, it is, it's its own country, right? But there are, I think, 28 states. If I'm wrong, drop a comment and tell me. There are 28 different states, and all of them are basically like their own country inside of India. Like, seriously, every state has their own way of doing things. Some of them have their own celebrations that are different from other states. Most of the states all have their own language. Some of them, Hindi is their language. Other of them, it's like Moni grew up in Gujarat. His mother tongue, the language of his state, is Gujarati. He also knows Hindi, but they mainly speak Gujarati in Gujarat, which thankfully for me is actually very close to Hindi, so it'll be easy to learn later on when I'm at that stage. But yeah, so India is such an interesting culture, and there's so much to learn and so much to do and so much to see. And I have been told, like, by so many different people that I could spend the rest of my life trying to learn about India and I still won't learn everything. That's how big and just culturally rich this country is, and I fucking love it. I love it. Y'all know I like to learn. So like the fact that every time I go to India, there's always something new to learn, something new to see, something new to do. All of that is just, it just keeps it so fresh and exciting, and I really love it. All right, y'all. So, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in, for the next episode when we talk about day 3. Like I'd mentioned at the beginning of the India trip series, there's about 14 days, give or take. So if you're sick of India, sorry, not sorry, because I'm never going to be sick of it. I better not, right? I'm marrying an Indian dude. Alrighty, well, until next time. Take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye! Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Travel Tales. head on over to whatishaybellsdoing.com/travel to find the resources mentioned in today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating on your favorite listening platform or write a review on Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on new episode releases. See you next time for another great adventure. Bye!